I guess I'm supposed to ask you if you think the country has a problem finding empathy, but I wonder if you really want to, make an impact, why aren't they sending folks back who are in jail already? Why aren't we seeing those mass deportations of people who have been found guilty of a crime? And why aren't we sending them back
He'd have to send the January 6 people back too then, because... Why is Dr. Phil there? What is
because
Dr.
it is
Phil
now a reality show. This is the new reality show. And I'm hoping that we can put music behind this, because it's only going to be a matter of weeks before we start to see, just folks showing up. What is going on?
Well, the only thing that could fix so much of the division in this country is empathy, is compassion. And there's no privilege to that. Giving it to anyone, compassion, empathy, watching Selena Gomez, what people don't understand is two things can be true at once. All of these conservative media pundits answered with, what about the violent criminals? Selena Gomez can feel compassion for people being deported. She has a very personal connection to that. Her grandmother came in the back of a truck across the border, and her father was then born in the country. She's born in the country. She belongs here. But that is natural to then say, God, it's heartbreaking to watch this. It can be heartbreaking, and she can still not be okay with violent criminals. And they keep saying in there, we're taking the violent criminals. Well, the point I made here at the table is they're not transparent about who they're bringing. They're knocking on doors, they're rounding up people, and they're not saying, if they broke down every person deported and said, we've got 16 murderers, 15 rapists, 13 repeat offenders, everyone in this country, including Selena Gomez, would say, bravo. But that's not what's happening, and they're not being open about it. So never condemn someone for showing empathy for another person.
That's right.
She doesn't have to address Lake and Riley, which is an awful, tragic story that happened here in this country. She can... it's not saying that she agrees with that to say she understands the plight of all of these people. So it's just a disgusting place we're at when we can't even recognize that.
1,200 deportations a day, but half of them have no criminal record.
Yes.
And wait a second, and the price of eggs is up, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, listen, the immigration system is broken. Most Americans agree. They disagree on the solutions. I think we need to secure the border. We need to streamline the process so you can come here legally, and it's easier to do that. I think immigrants make our country better. But I agree that...
Is it easy to do?
We need to fix the system to make it much easier. It can take years to become a citizen. It's a very onerous process. But empathy can be a two-way street, because, agreed, of course Selena Gomez's lived experience, she is going to feel something when she sees families potentially being separated. And on the other side, with Lake and Riley, I think the issue here is people are like, well, why aren't you mad when an American kills another American? Of course we are. Of course we're outraged, it's evil and it's wrong. What makes this so heartbreaking for people is it was avoidable. The system failed Lake and Riley. That person should not have been here in the first place. They should have been deported because they are one of these violent offenders. And so a young woman, a young UGA student is not alive today because the system failed her. So be mad at both at once. That's something that's perfectly reasonable. But what I'm frustrated about with this conversation is anytime we talk about border security in America and immigration, we act like it's uniquely American, racist, and xenophobic. Every nation on earth deals with this issue. I sat with then Chancellor Angela Merkel when she was discussing how many Syrian migrants she could afford to bring into Germany safely and economically. This is how every country deals with it. Canada and the U.S. have the largest unguarded borders in the world. So we need to also be realistic. How do we talk about issues everyone faces, do it in a humane way, make the border secure, but also people who want to be.
We could see Selena Gomez, who is crying with that emoji. You can see her sympathizing, crying because of too much deportation. The Republican Senate did not care, or they came and just bashing on her. They did not care nothing. So she came and made a post, if the country don't care, if they don't have empathy. So some people were against her. Some people said she don't even feel for Nikki, the girl who was murdered, who was killed, whose life was being taken. The Georgia State University, who was running by an immigrant. That's all people concentrate on. So the women in the view all have different opinion about immigration deportation. They all have all different opinion. Some of them say that all they keep saying that they are deporting they are deporting the criminals, which is not true, because most of those people are no criminals. Most of them are not criminals. Most of them, because they are undocumented and they are separating families. How can you come in a house and take the mother, the father, allow those babies? Who is going to raise the babies? Or just take the father with the breadwinner and allow the mother with the children? Or take the mother and allow the babies with the father, which they have their, because they are undocumented, they do pay their taxes, as the preacher was saying the other day, when Donald Trump was put into presidency. They all have their papers. They pay taxes, and they are working so hard. They are not criminals. Not all of them are criminals. So why don't they justify and go for the criminals alone and take those people who are not criminals? Because now they are taking people who are not criminals and sending them back to their country. So the women in the views were saying that somebody like Snoop, because the American as a whole believe that every undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Just seeing you speaking different, they already know that you're a criminal. So they're trying to tell the people, no, not everybody who is undocumented is a criminal. Likely the undocumented immigrants, even most of them are unlikely to commit sin. They are not even criminals. Americans are more criminals than them, because that happened. Everybody feel bad for what happened to that girl, the student in UGA, which was a bad thing for that, for anyone to lose a child like that at that young age for nothing, who just got up, was rushing to go do sport. But likewise, you don't carry people, just send them to where they are coming from, people who have stayed their whole life here, and you send them just like that because they are undocumented. So actually, what do you really think about this? And some of them saying that somebody like Whoopi saying they cannot keep criminals. Some of them say that you need to look for those that are undocumented. Some of them don't actually care, they just want you to go. So what are they telling the country? It means America no longer accept they no more agree with America no more accept what are they telling? It means that the country don't yet accept immigrants. They are against immigrants. Let me see your opinion in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. What are they telling? It means that the country don't yet accept immigrants. They are against immigrants. Let me see your opinion in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. What are they telling? It means that the country don't yet accept immigrants. They are against immigrants.